Ryan Gosling becoming Ghost Rider sounds like one of those Marvel announcements that almost sells itself. The flaming skull, the motorcycle, the chain, the Penance Stare. But if Marvel really understands this character, none of those things are what make him interesting, because underneath all that fire is a man who tried to save someone he loved, gave up everything he could give, and still lost him anyway. Marvel has confirmed Gosling as Ghost Rider, but it has not confirmed which human host he will play, so the version I want to look at here is Johnny Blaze, the classic Ghost Rider, whose story shows why this character can be much more than spectacle. Before we move ahead, if you're enjoying the video so far, and you like understanding the psychology hidden behind movie characters, make sure to like the video, subscribe to channel, and share it with a friend who enjoys this kind of content. Also, comment below and tell me your favorite part of the video so far. Johnny didn't make his deal because he wanted power, fame, or immortality. He made it because his adoptive father, Simpson, was dying of cancer. And when someone you love is disappearing in front of you, impossible choices can suddenly feel reasonable. So Johnny bargains with Mephisto and offers his soul in exchange for Crash's life, and technically the deal works. Crash is cured, then dies shortly afterward in a motorcycle stunt. That is where Ghost Rider really begins for me. Not with the flames, not with Zarathos, not with the skull, but with Johnny realizing that he sacrificed something permanent to control an outcome he was never capable of controlling. He did the desperate thing for a loving reason, and the universe still found another way to take the person he was trying to save. That kind of experience can trap someone inside one question. What else could I have done? Because when something terrible happens, the mind often searches for a version of events where one different choice would have changed everything. And sometimes that search creates the illusion that there must have been a perfect decision somewhere, even when there wasn't. Johnny tried to defeat helplessness with a bargain, but the bargain only gave that helplessness a permanent shape. Mephisto bonds him with Zarathos, and Johnny becomes Ghost Rider, a spirit of vengeance built to punish the guilty, which creates the contradiction at the center of the character. Johnny's original choice comes from love, but the thing he becomes is built around punishment. He tried to stop suffering, then became something whose purpose is to make the guilty feel the weight of suffering they caused. So beneath the fire, the chain, and the Penance Stare is a human being who knows what it means to make one desperate decision and live inside its consequences long after the moment is gone. That is why I don't think the most interesting question about Ryan Gosling's Ghost Rider is how powerful Marvel will make him or who he can defeat. The better question is what happens to a man when vengeance becomes the identity that gives his pain somewhere to go. Guilt turns inward and asks, was this my fault? Anger turns outward and asks, who should pay? And vengeance can feel easier than grief because grief has no enemy, there is no person to defeat and no final battle that brings someone back, while vengeance always gives you a direction. Ghost Rider is always moving, always chasing, always finding another guilty soul. But movement is not the same as escape. And this is where Ryan Gosling could be fascinating, because Ghost Rider doesn't need an actor who only looks dangerous when the flames appear. He needs someone who can make the human underneath the curse feel controlled on the outside while something much heavier is happening underneath. The skull can be terrifying, but none of that matters if we stop feeling Johnny Blaze inside it. The real tragedy isn't simply that Johnny becomes something frightening, it's that he becomes powerful enough to punish almost anyone while still being unable to undo the loss that created him. He can judge evil and carry frightening supernatural power, but none of it gives him control over the past. Maybe that is why Ghost Rider works so well, because beneath all the supernatural imagery is something painfully human. The belief that if we had done one thing differently, maybe we could have saved someone or stopped the worst moment from happening. Johnny actually acted on that belief. He gave everything, and it still wasn't enough. So when Ryan Gosling finally becomes Ghost Rider, I don't want Marvel to ask only how powerful he is. I want them to ask, what happens when the thing that gives a man purpose is also the thing that keeps him chained to the worst moment of his life? Because Ghost Rider doesn't just ride toward vengeance, he rides away from the one thing he has never really been able to reach: peace. And that is the unseen pattern.